What's happening, everyone? Professor Mike, Coach T, back, graced by Around A-Leads here in the UK. This week talking about attacks from the mount. If you were with us last week, put a video every day out about attacks from the back. This week it's the mount. Today, what to do when your opponent is focused on defending and looking towards the hip escape. Here's the option, the Ezekiel Choke. Looks like this. So we're going to mount my opponent. Okay, and invariably when we hit the mount, I would say 9 times out of 10 we'd land in what we call a low mount position, where my hips are pretty much above my opponent's hips. Now this is an advantageous position for my opponent because, even though he's in the mount, because it gives him access to his hips, so he can ooper from here, bridge, and create an off-balancing effect for me, which means I can't settle to look for my attacks. All right, it's a mistake to start to look for your attacks here whilst in a low mount position. You're going to get oopered off 9 times out of 10 if your opponent's good, but of course we have counters from there. Check back later in the week for those. Today, what to do when your opponent is actively pushing against your legs, stopping you coming to the high mount, and at the same time looking for this hip escape. If you do nothing at this point, he will escape. He will ooper, put my hands on the mat, if you go Coach T, and now he's going to hip escape. And look, he's already in the half guard. We're back to a neutral position, all right? Well done. Nice technical escape. So we will need to be able to react, all right? As soon as my opponent goes here, I'm going to head straight for the neck. Not to look to finish, okay, but to control. Now what I want you to think about is if my opponent's going to hip escape on this side, I'll know which side he wants to hip escape because his hips will be turned that way. I need to disallow his ability to keep looking this way. All right, if he can look this way, he can turn his hips this way, he can escape this way. If I can make his face look this way, it'll be very difficult for him now to complete this hip escape. So as he starts to turn, I'll come low, I'll wrap the head. Okay, I like to grab on the jawline here and I'll actively turn my opponent's head and get my shoulder in a position whereby he's unable now to complete the hip escape. That's step one. We must deal with the problem, and the problem is he's almost about to escape. When I do that, I'm going to transition to the Ezekiel Choke. Okay, what this does is 2 things. 1, it can finish our opponent real quick if they're not ready for it. And 2, it will make sure his hands come up high, away from my hips, and I'm going to counter that and fill that space with my high mount. All right, it looks like this. So Coach T is going to go for the hip escape here. I'm going to come low, making sure I've got a base hand. I'm going to turn his head, reposition. Maybe I'll take a grip on the gi. Don't really need it. This hand's out for base, so I can stay nice and based. Okay, when I move towards the Ezekiel Choke, I don't want my opponent to see any of this shenanigans going on. So I'm going to place my head next to his and hide that from him. So I go as deep as I can on this arm, head next to his, look to put my 4 fingers or 3 fingers in the gi. All right, today we're going to go 3 fingers, okay, in the gi. It's quite a tight gi. That will depend the 4 or 3, depending on how wide your sleeve is. Okay, this is quite a tight gi, so we're going to go 3 in. I loop this hand across my opponent's throat, okay, and this is the key detail to finish. When I loop this in front, okay, the mistake is to try and force pressure at that point. All that does is create pressure on the windpipe. All right, we want to get to the carotids again, so I need to slide the whole system across. All right, like an old style typewriter, I need to slide all the way across. So I come through, turn the head, make sure I've got base. Cover, fingers go in, loop to the front, slide. Okay, that's the key detail. I need to slide the whole system, bottom hand on top hand, across. Okay, now I'm able to create pressure on the side of the neck. From there, I will just straighten my arms. That's the finish. 99 times out of 100, when I get here, my opponent's hands are going to come up to try and defend. When they do, I can either go for the finish. If I'm not quite there, I will walk up to the high mount, dismount, create base again, and now I'm ready for a better attack, a higher percentage attack. Okay, one more time all the way through. I've landed in a low mount position. My opponent's getting ready to hip escape. You have to deal with the problem. Don't get greedy, don't go fast, don't aim for the finish. You will get your mount escaped. So as he goes for that hip escape, cover, turn, control this position here. Cover the eyes with my own head. Fingers go in the gi. Come to the front. Slide across, like an old-style typewriter, all the way across, so there's no slack in the system. From there, I can apply pressure, which will get the tap. 99 out of 10, though, he's going to bring his hands up to defend, and as he does, I'll slide into the high mount and control from here. Okay? One further detail, and this is for perhaps when you're slightly more comfortable in this position, is what I do with my feet. All right? I want to deny my opponent's ability to bridge, and I can do so with my feet. So as I come through for the Ezekiel, everything's good here. Note my rear leg. This leg is going to grapevine through to my opponent, okay, anchoring my hips to his. If I'm just sloppy here again, there's ways that he can use his feet to get into an advantageous position. So as I sink the Ezekiel in, I will drop my hip to one side. Again, I'll look to grapevine here, locking my hips to his, and there's the finish. All right, guys. Tuesday today. That's a great technique for you. Okay, to get through the first half of this week. Check back in tomorrow for another great technique. See you then. Take care.